Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving into a super important tool for anyone who uses the internet. That's right, we're talking about VPNs. Whether you're already a pro or just kind of curious about what they do, we're going to break down exactly what they are, how they work, and why you might really want one. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so let's paint a picture. You're at your favorite coffee shop. You hop on their free Wi-Fi to maybe check your bank account or send a quick work email. It's super convenient, right? But have you ever just paused for a second and asked yourself, is this actually safe? I mean, who else is on this network with me, and what can they see? That one simple question gets right to the heart of why we need to talk about this stuff.
And you know that coffee shop scenario? That's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the internet's unseen risks. The reality is, every single time we go online, without any kind of protection, we're basically exposing ourselves to all sorts of threats that are working just under the surface. So, what are we really up against? Let's take a look.
These things are way more common than you think. Eavesdropping on public Wi-Fi? Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. Someone literally listening in on your data. Your own internet service provider, or ISP, is tracking your every move. Geo-restrictions can lock you out of content. And your IP address? That's basically a digital name tag that reveals your location to the world. And hey, for all the remote workers out there, an unsecured connection can even lead to massive corporate data leaks.
I know, it all sounds a bit intimidating, right? But here's the good news. For all of these problems, there is an incredibly elegant solution. You can think of it like hiring a personal, invisible bodyguard for your digital life, a tool that creates a private, secure tunnel just for you.
And that tool is a virtual private network, or VPN. At its core, a VPN is actually pretty simple. It creates an encrypted, think of it as scrambled, tunnel between your device, whether that's your phone or your laptop, and a remote server run by the VPN company. All of your internet traffic, literally everything you do, gets sent through this secure tunnel, completely shielded from prying eyes.
Here's another way I love to think about it. If your data packets are like valuable cargo, then a VPN is the armored car that transports them safely from point A to point B. It protects them from anyone trying to intercept them along the way.
And look, this isn't some niche, nerdy technology. VPNs are absolutely mainstream. We're talking about an estimated 2 billion people using them across the globe. That's nearly a third of everyone on the internet, all looking for a more private and secure online experience.
And this is a massive global phenomenon. It's not just a Western thing. I mean, look at a country like Indonesia. The adoption rate there is around 60%. The scale of this really shows you that the desire for privacy, for security, and for access, well, it's universal.
So we know what a VPN is, but how does this digital tunnel actually get built? Let's pop the hood for a second and take a quick peek. And don't worry, I promise we'll keep it simple and clear. It all happens in 3 really simple steps. First, your VPN app, the client, connects to the VPN server and basically proves it's you. Second, they establish that encrypted tunnel we've been talking about, kind of like a secret handshake. And finally, all your internet traffic, your browsing, streaming, all of it is routed through that brand new private tunnel. And that's it.
The how behind that tunnel is powered by something called a protocol. Now, the 2 big ones you'll hear about today are WireGuard and OpenVPN. The main thing you need to know here is the trade-off. WireGuard is the newer, faster, more lightweight option. It's perfect for streaming and using on your phone. OpenVPN is the older, battle-tested workhorse, and sometimes it's a bit better at getting around heavy censorship. Most modern VPNs will give you a choice, but honestly, a lot of them default to WireGuard just because it's so fast.
Okay, so that's the tech. Now let's get to the good part. How does this all translate into real-world benefits? Why should you even bother? What's the practical advantage for you day to day?
Well, the benefits directly solve the problems we just talked about. A VPN hides your activity from your ISP. It lets you bypass those annoying geo-blocks so you can access streaming libraries from other countries. It makes that sketchy coffee shop Wi-Fi totally secure. It can even prevent your ISP from throttling or slowing down your connection. And here's a huge one. A key feature called a kill switch acts as a fail-safe, cutting your internet if the VPN connection ever drops, making sure your real IP address is never exposed.
Now, this is really important. A VPN is a powerful tool, but not all of them are created equal, not by a long shot. To actually get these benefits, you have to be a smart consumer and understand that choosing the right provider and the right type of service is absolutely critical.
Which brings us to the biggest decision you'll make, free versus paid. It is so tempting to go for a free option, but you have to remember that old saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. Free VPNs often make their money by logging and selling your data, the very thing you're trying to protect.
Paid services, on the other hand, build their whole business model on protecting your privacy, and they prove it through independent no-logs audits, where a third party verifies they're actually not storing your data.
So people always worry, won't a VPN slow down my internet? And yeah, there is a tiny performance cost for all that encryption. But this chart shows how modern protocols have minimized it. With a good provider using WireGuard, you might only see about a 10% speed drop, which you'll probably never even notice. The days of painfully slow VPNs are pretty much behind us.
So, to wrap it all up, here is your takeaway checklist. Choose a provider with a proven, audited no-logs policy. Always, and I mean always, enable that kill switch feature. Use the WireGuard protocol for the best performance. And please, avoid those tempting but super risky free services. Just remember, a VPN is one strong layer of security, but it's not a magic bullet. So use it along with other good habits.
And that brings us to our final thought. As our lives get more and more digital, using tools like these forces us to ask a much bigger question. In today's world, is our online privacy something we should have to choose and pay for, or is it a fundamental right we should all be guaranteed? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.